Hello, hello, hello. This is Gayle Nicholson back with another episode of the Corona Spotlight 2020. Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you today. It is Friday, almost the end of April, April 24th. And we are enjoying some warmer spring weather. It's starting to feel like everybody else's summer down here in Phoenix. It's starting to get really warm in the 90s today. So I hope that I can share a little bit of sunshine with you wherever you are, where it is a little bit colder, I hear, up there in the Northeast and the Midwest. So today, my guest is from the Northeast, from New York. She is a very talented designer and specialist in scented oils and stuff like that. I can't wait for you to meet her. So let's get to that right now. Help me welcome, please, Irene Rodriguez, a Waistbeads jewelry designer. I've named her. And she is the founder of 100essentialwomen.com. So we're going to get into talking about that as well. Hi, Irene. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
Hey, Gail. Thank you for having me. I'm doing good. Pretty tired, but I'm pushing through.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome to
happy
hear.
Friday.
Thanks. You got any interesting and fun plans for the weekend?
Um, Clean my kids' room.
Now,
That's
remembering back to when I
pretty much.
had my two little ones at home, that itself can be quite an adventure.
Yeah, it's a mess in there, especially since we're home so much. I wish that we can go to a playground, but here in New York City, all the playgrounds have been closed, so we can't go.
That's unfortunate. How many kids do you
Yeah.
have?
I have two children. I have a 6-year-old son and a 8-year-old daughter.
And how are you keeping them busy? Since you can't go to the park. I mean, I now mind you, I'm assuming that you live like most New Yorkers in a high rise, some sort of an apartment building, as opposed to a
Hmm.
standalone house.
Yeah.
So there's got to be very limited play space for them to run around and do their thing. How are you guys managing that?
Um, well, I keep them on a schedule because I'm also working my full-time day job. And so I'm doing that plus homeschooling them. So we keep a flexible schedule. We have our schedule, but it's never really the same each day because such is life and things happen and feelings happen and toddlerhood happens. um,
Toddlerhood. I like that. I'm going to trademark that. Toddlerhood.
yeah.
That's
My
awesome.
daughter, my daughter's 3, so she's very much 3. Um, so we have that, and they have their homeschooling time when they have their classes with teachers and then stuff that I do with them. And we just have a lot of breaks in between. The day that I saw the playgrounds locked, I cried a little bit. And then I bought a mini trampoline.
See,
So
smart
it
lady.
arrived. When did it arrive? I think about 3 days ago now. And it's been such a lifesaver because when they just need a break, they just go on and bounce. And when they're not on it, I'll get on for a little bit and bounce. And it's actually really fun.
That's awesome.
um, Yeah, but for the most part, I think our living room is the classroom now, and their bedroom is the play space. So at least they have a change in environment in that way.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
that's how we're managing.
That's awesome. I was talking with a personal trainer a few episodes ago, and he was talking about the fact that we've lost our transition time. Like
Yeah.
we used to commute to work or back, and or we'd drive to the gym and we'd get this alone time, in the transition. And he was giving helpful tips on how to regain that transition time just by moving to another room or separating out a single room that is not as a punishment room, but a room where you can go and just recharge without
Hmm.
stimulus, you know? So,
I
those,
need to remember that for myself.
right? Don't we
It's the hard.
all? Don't we all?
Yeah.
We're moving. Myself, personally, I'm moving in 3 weeks, and my
Oh wow.
husband is trying to talk me into, because one of the bedrooms will be my office, so I can close the door, and then the
Nice.
other bedroom should be a guest room, in my opinion. We have people that come in from out of town, and he's trying to convince me to put the drum set in there. And it's like, no, 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 you don't understand. You can put the drum set in the garage. I need a space where I'm not at work, where I'm not at
Mhm.
home, where I can go and do yoga if I want to.
Yeah,
Whatever it is. So I fully support you creating something that gives you back your transition time and your recharge
thank you.
space, because it's going to be so important for keeping the younger generation alive, I think. For
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm wondering about the long-term effects of this on them.
hmm
Yeah, right now they seem pretty resilient. I mean, most children are resilient, and if you show resilience yourself, they'll model that. But I just think of the long-term effects and just the social implications of that, because they miss their friends a lot, and but now even sometimes my son's like, I don't want to go outside. I'm like, we're going outside for a walk. Like he's just like, no, I don't want to. So they're becoming very, very like used to being home. I mean, they love being home, but just I don't know. I just worry for
Yeah,
for
yeah,
humanity
I do
in
get
general.
I do get it, because I can identify with your son in that the more that I stay home, the more comfortable I am with staying home.
Yeah, I love home too.
Yeah.
So, we need to stretch and get out and walk and get that blood circulation going.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so yeah, it's it's interesting. Yeah.
Very cool. Now, I want to start out by talking a little bit about these waist beads. One of my other guests came to me and she was like, "You got to talk to Irene. She makes these amazing waist beads and they're so pretty and they're so blah blah blah." She was just gushing about it, and I'm like, "Okay, okay, I'll talk to Irene." So, tell me, what is the purpose of waist beads? I know right now, if I had bought some from you 3 weeks ago, they wouldn't fit anymore in my personal case. So, what is the purpose of them?
uh, Mine's getting a little tight too with these last couple. It's okay. So the purpose of waist beads, the reason why I started making them was for a spiritual reason within myself, and my own guides so directed me to do this, and I did it not knowing what I was getting myself into. And after one of my girlfriends saw mine and asked me to make one for her, that prompted me to start doing my research. Me being the faithful spiritual person I am, I'm going to follow whatever advice my guides give me, and because they're not going to steer me wrong. And 2.5, almost 3 years later, look at where I am now, talking with you about this in a public space. So waist beads originated within African tribes, um, with the women in the African tribes, and various different tribes used it for one for female babies in their naming ceremony as an infant. They would put them on as a form of empowerment and match their name. Two, um, female empowerment to guide them in their personal path. Three, to how can I say it? Like, I'm lost for words for a second because it's so I do this so much, it just
Mhm.
kind of stood at me. But anyway, sorry.
No worries,
um,
it'll come back to you.
so
Don't chase it.
and then I got it. So the different waist beads have different colors and different meanings, and different crystals for different meanings as well. So women will wear them like that. Um, in a more, I guess, superficial, materialistic way, women do wear them as waist trainers. Like I just said, mine is getting a little tighter, so uh, it's like a sign to my brain that I need to stop going in the refrigerator so much, and there's a change happening in my body, and not only with me gaining a little bit of weight because we're less mobile, but because I'm less mobile, I'm feeling it in my body, like my knees and my elbows, which is really weird. So that it's a reminder of our bodies and what we're going through internally. And you know, funny, one of my colleagues, I'm making her one, and she's like, I don't know if it's gonna fit anymore because I've gained a couple pounds. My jeans are tighter, and I said, don't worry, I make them a little bit longer than normal so that way you can adjust them how you want. Um, but
That's awesome.
it'll be a good reminder, you know. And
Now,
so yeah,
I
that's
want to interject, if you don't mind, for just a second, because as people will see behind me, there's this display, and you may not be able to see it, but there's all kinds of little crystals behind
I do see them. Hmm.
so you mentioned about just kind of a reminder to your mind, right? That getting a little tighter around the belly to triggers you to think, okay, how can I change something to be a little bit more healthy? And it's very similar in which I've had people ask me before about crystals, in that, do you really think that has a vibration that changes things? And in many cases, yes, it does. And in other cases, it's really just literally a touchstone, a reminder to remember what that rock signifies
Hmm.
for you. And I know that sometimes you use crystals as well in the making of these waist beads.
I
So
do, in most of them.
what are some of those crystals that you use, and for what purpose? What is it going to retrain the mind back to? Whether there's an actual like vibrational impact or not.
I use some lava stones there, which is also a natural diffuser. So you can put essential oils into the lava stones. And lava stone is very grounding, keeps us grounded. And most black stones are grounding.
Okay.
I use a lot of black tourmaline, hematite, uh, obsidian for grounding. A lot of my clients have asked for those specifically to keep negative energy away and to keep them grounded, because usually by the time I'm talking to a woman and we're having our consultation for a waist bead, she usually feels kind of all over the place. And she's like, I need something that's going to keep me focused. So I use a lot of the black stones for that. I've also used a lot of amethyst
Mm-hmm.
to get the mind centered. Um, a lot of women have confided in me about needing a lot of self-love, and it's never about like wanting a partner. It's more about finding the love for themselves. So I use a lot of rose quartz as well, and and clear quartz in waist beads that I use. And oftentimes some of them are on a new path for themselves, of like opening their own business or starting something new. And I use a lot of jade and citrine for abundance. So those are the ones that I'm always constantly restocking on.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Those are great ones. Now, a lot like for example, the lava stone. Are those the ones that you use for diffusing essential oils as well? How does that work with the waist beads?
Yes. So lava stone, as you know, that it's porous. So it's little holes in it,
Mm-hmm.
and you can just put a drop or two of the essential oil in the lava stone. So if it's on the waist bead, the lava stone is touching your skin, and then the essential oil being on the lava stone is also going to touch your skin. So you're going to get the aroma, a very light aroma of the essential oil, and also the physical topical effects of the essential oil.
Excellent,
So that's how.
excellent, awesome. So I'm not quite sure how I want to ask this question because I don't want it to come across as rude in any way. But why do you do this work? What is it? I mean, it's one thing to make one for yourself, and it's another thing to
Mhm.
make one for a friend, right? But there's got to be
Mhm.
something beyond that that has you like reach out and offer this publicly, because it is a very personal thing, and it is a very spiritual thing. Why do
Mhm.
you do this?
Oh, first, I've never had any intention on doing and sharing this with anyone else besides myself.
Mm-hmm.
Even when my friend asked me to make one for her, I originally told her no. My initial reaction was no, and she says no, Irene, please, like make one for me. I said no. I said, like, no. This is a personal thing for me, and this is what I was told to do for myself. And she was very persistent. She's like, Irene, you just made something really beautiful. And I said, fine, I'll make it for you. Right. Like, just, okay. This is one of my girlfriends. We've been friends for about 20 years. So we can
Yeah,
banter that
yeah.
way. Um, and then I made it for her. Yeah. I measured her. I made it for her. I said, I don't know what I'm doing. If it breaks, sorry, we'll work it out. And just doing that for her, I had to do the research because it triggered something within me. And um, after making hers, our other friend saw it and she's like, I want one. I was like, oh, here we go. And I have to make another one. So I just started making them, making it for them and gifting it to them. And my second friend, Heidi, she's like, Irene, you could sell these. And I said, I don't want to sell them. I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to do it for everybody. It's just something I was supposed to do for myself. And now you girls, And she said, no, Irene, you need to reach out to other women. And I meditated on it for a long while. And as I was meditating, I would just make them, just whatever patterns came to mind. I started going out, finding different types of beads and stuff. And I just started making them. It was actually a de-stressor for me as well, and a form of meditation. And I would just sit there very quiet, and when my kids went to sleep, and just quietly bead, and one bead can take 2 to 3 hours to make. So just sitting there 2 to 3 hours, it means I'm up to like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes, but I'm doing it. And it was just so quieting of my mind. And I was getting so many different messages. And then I made some bracelets too, and I would gift them, because quite honestly, there was a time when I wasn't working. I was working odd jobs here and there, and and I was just doing them, and I would make them as gifts for like Christmas and stuff.
Nice.
And a lot of my friends and family, said that my work was beautiful, and even they started to pay me. They're like, Irene, I'm going to pay you, make me one. And I was just like, you don't have to pay me, okay. And they would just say, pay me. And I took one day, there was a pop-up shop here in New York. So like, an event with different vendors, and it was an event for women of color, right? And just something inside that said, do it. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, And I went, I inquired about it, got a lot of information, and I just brought out like my box of stuff that I had already made. And a lot of women came to my table, and I was talking to them about it. And that's when I found out, like, it felt so good to talk to these women, and I'm a stranger to them, and they're telling me like their personal issues. Like, wow, this is what it'll do for me. And they'll just gravitate to whichever one they liked, whatever stone it was, whatever colors. And it was such powerful work to engage with these women.
Now,
And it just kind of took on from there.
did you notice at that time when they would pick something to look at the shows, that whatever it was that they picked up was almost always something that they needed in their life, that they were attracted to it for a reason, right?
Yes.
I used to do crystal luncheons, and I would lay my crystals out on a table, and we'd talk about them beforehand and afterwards, and inevitably, without fail, whatever crystal a lady pointed out and said, I want to know more about that one, was always something that was going to be a contribution to her life. So that's really cool that you notice that too as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting how that happens.
Yeah, even for myself, I'll be making. I made my very first one was white and burgundy colored beads with some tourmaline in it. And just after a while of wearing that, I would add another one. So then I had yellow, and then I had white, and then now I have a green one. So it's very different for whatever I'm going through in my life, And I think it might be time to change again. And I just keep them there, and I'll swap them sometimes, or wear all of them.
Do you have any?
I don't wear a lot of clothes. Yeah, I do. I have. Let me adjust. So I have this gold one. It's like gold glass beads with amber and citrine.
Very nice. Those almost look like they almost look like freshwater pearls. The beads in between.
Oh, these are glass beads. Yeah. And the string, as you can see, is elastic. I use elastic, so it's easier because once you put them on, you don't take them off. But in a traditional sense, you do not. I never take mine off unless I'm changing it. But at least the elastic string will allow for you to preserve it. You don't have to break it. just gently off, and then you can put it back on. I have this black one. There's like some rainbow hematite on it.
Nice. Very nice.
I have a light blue one. So I only use glass beads or in crystals. Don't use any plastic.
Okay, good. Good.
Not good for us.
Oh, how pretty.
Yeah. See if I have any other colors. Oh, I have a yellow one. Yellow. It has jade on it.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you.
Very, very nice. Now, I imagine that, the prices range for these given what goes into them. Some crystals are harder to find and more expensive than others, and so on. So, what generally is the price range for these waist beads? And I imagine the price fluctuates with the length as well.
I just charge one price, which is $45. I don't charge according to length. I don't think that's fair to different body types, and any woman of any shape size can wear this. So I just charge $45.
That's nice. I like that.
And with the crystals, if that's where the price might change, because as you can see, it's not a full waist bead of crystals. It's just like small patterns of it. But if they wanted a full waist bead of the entire thing crystals and no glass beads, then we'll have to discuss the cost of that.
Right.
And that will be in a consultation depending on the type of bead that they want, crystal that they want.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And quite honestly, I never really had to have that conversation. I think only one time. Because most of the time a client would just be like, these are the colors, these are the crystals I want. I trust you, do what you want. And I'll just meditate on them and just do it. And it ends up,
That's awesome.
being what I like. I've had also some clients who are very specific with what they want as well. And, I'm taking down notes for them and stuff so I can meet their needs.
That's phenomenal. Awesome. And I want to point out that for our audience today, you have graciously and generously agreed to give $5 off of any order of 2 waist beads or more, and free shipping as well.
Yes.
So that's huge. Thank you so much for offering that to
Of course.
our guests.
Thank you. Definitely have to keep the cycle of giving going.
Absolutely. So we'll make sure that the links for them to reach out to you to order those will be available when we upload this after the fact as well. And
yes, my website is under construction, so they're just going to get something that looks kind of funky right now. This is a work in progress because I'm learning as I'm going. But they can definitely reach me through Facebook, Instagram. I'm pretty on that all the time anyway, so they can reach me through those methods if they can, because they're not going to get me through my website right now.
Gotcha. That works. Excuse me. So thank you for doing that. And I wanted to ask you if you have any final thoughts for our audience before as we head into the weekend. It's a Friday. I keep forgetting it's Friday.
Yeah. I know the days are just mushing together. I think my final thoughts would be, and this is also a message for myself, is to, as much as we love and give for others, we have to remember to give to ourselves and be just as gracious and kind to ourselves. Especially for us moms who are doing all the things at the same time, and trying to do everything well for our children and for our families, that we need to do something nice for ourselves as well. And it's okay to be honest with our kids and say, I need a minute, before I have my own tantrum. So
Mommy needs a timeout.
Yes, I told it to my kids. Yes, I was like, I'm putting myself on a timeout. And I did. I came to my room and just was like, I carry Jasper a lot. So I keep, when you said that rock that gives you that reminder, I have my little Jasper, and I was just like, meditating, saying a quick prayer. So just remember to do that for yourself, and that it's okay. And, we're so giving for our kids and make sure they have everything, that we need to check in with ourselves to see if we need something as well. And sometimes it could be a small little gift of, you see something nice and you can get it for yourself with, of course, within budget, or just like, I just need to, when they go to bed, I just need to watch some silly TV and have a glass of wine, and that's okay too, you know. So that's my message for the weekend. Just
Awesome.
be graceful to yourself.
That's beautiful.
So
Thank you so much for being with me today, Irene. I've enjoyed our chat very much, and you do make
me too.
beautiful, beautiful waist beads. I
Thank you
am
so
looking
much.
forward to seeing those again. Take care.
Yes. Thank you for having me. Bye.
Bye bye. When you open yourself up to actual energy work, makes that recovery progress so much faster. That recovery is possible. You do not have to live as a victim until your last days. You have unbelievable strength, and I know that because you're still here. Do you want to create something completely unrecognizable with your life? I can show you how.